Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Ramblings Middle-earth strategy battle game battle reports. In today's battle, Denethor and his allies try to fend off the Mordor horde as we test out two potential tournament lists against each other. This is the evil force for today, 700 points of Mordor. It's a stripped down version of an 800 point list that I recently took to a tournament, and it's got the Witch King, who is just 314-3 on his horse. He also has the crown, and then he has 6 Black Númenóreans and 6 Morannons with shield. He's got a Black Númenórean banner bearer, 3 trackers and 2 warg riders with shield. The second warband is very similar. It's Gorbag with shield, and he has 4 Morannons with shield and spear, 1 with just a spear, and then 4 Black Númenóreans up front. And he has 2 warg riders with shield and 1 tracker. Then, with an identical warband, we have Goroth, and that is 700 points of Mordor. The forces of good, we have Denethor leading a banner bearer with shield and spear, along with 7 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield and 7 rangers with spear. All of my spearmen seem to have disappeared, so some of them don't have the spear, but they've all got it in their points cost. There's also Hurin. He is on his horse, and he has 5 warriors with shield and 5 Fountain Court Guard with shield. We also have Forlong the Fat allied in from the Fiefdoms, and he's on a horse with 4 Dol Amroth knights with lance, shield and horse, bringing in that vital +1 courage with his warhorn and a little bit of hitting power, because they'll be losing their army bonus due to the presence of Gwaihir the Windlord, giving them some much needed hitting power and some tactical mobility. And that is 700 points of Minas Tirith, Fiefdoms and Misty Mountains. This 700 point list is something that I'm considering taking to a future tournament. If you've seen the other videos on this channel, you'll have seen the similar list with the Dwarves and Gwaihir at 400 points, which I have since taken to a tournament and managed to place second. So this is a bit of a tweak on that, bigger points, and just something a little bit different. So hopefully it does all right, doesn't get whitewashed by Mordor, which is another potential option for taking to said tournament. This is the table for today's game. We've had a change of location and a change of table since the last battle report. So we're now playing on a full-size 4x4 with one of the TT combat mats. This is the fantasy mat, and this was bought at a discounted price from Atomic Cards. I'll put a link in the description below. And then the Elven scenery that we've seen before, that is also TT Combat, bought direct from their eBay store. As you can see then, there's some scattered terrain, but not too much. I wanted this to be quite an open battle to really use the space in this bigger board format. The game is going to be domination, which is the central objective, and for this it's the can't find my hand, the Palantir there in the center, or the mirror rather, and then there's also 4 other objective markers. There's one just there, one there, one up there, and then one hiding just behind the pavilion. They are each worth 2 points if at the end of the game you've got someone within 3 and no enemies. And they are worth just 1 point if you have more models than enemy models within 3 inches, but it's contested. There is also A victory point for wounding or killing the enemy leader, just one regardless of whether they are simply wounded or dead, and also one for breaking the enemy. And that is the full 12 victory points, which are calculated at the end of the game. And this game ends at the end of a turn in which one force are reduced to 25%. Both forces are already deployed. It's right up to the halfway line. So Mordor have formed a little bit of a ring, trying to anchor onto the terrain with all of their more mobile and ranged units behind to form a bit of a shield from Gwaihir. Minas Tirith, Fiefdoms and Eagle in turn have deployed, but they've deployed slightly further back, just to give the Rangers some easy shots and force Mordor forward. And Gwaihir has deployed right on the flank, out of charge range, so that he can make himself as big a threat as possible and try and pull off some of the Mordor force, or simply to charge in from the side and abuse them, depending on what Mordor choose to do. So that is the battle. It's all set up. We'll roll for first turn priority. Rolling for turn 1 priority with evil in the red, good in the green. It's a draw. Try again. And there we go. First turn priority goes to evil. Mordor, unwilling to pull anyone off to go after Gwaihir, have relocated to the right, keeping their force together. They move off to secure this one, still have the centre, and then this one, there's only Gwaihir to go for it, so if he does, he's out of the game. Defending it while the forces clash, which isn't an issue for Mordor, or if he goes after them, then a Warg Rider will be able to go for it. The force has just shuffled across to try and stay away from Gwaihir as long as possible and bring their numbers to bear. We've jumped in though because the Witch King has moved, and during his move he's been able to get into range of Denethor and then back out. So he's going to try just a single dice black dart, because why not? It doesn't go off on a 4, so he's going to re-roll for free with the crown, and it goes off on a 6. Denethor has 3 will. Does he waste them on a resist there? That is a tough call. We'll come back once we've decided and once we've found some dice. So Denethor has no might. So if he tries to resist that, even if he gets a 5, he's still going to go off. So he's going to allow it to go through. So the Witch King then gets to deal a wound, but it has to be a 3+ to do the damage. Oh, and it is! So Denethor there down to just 1 wound. It's not the end of the world, because while Hurin is alive, he has a special rule that means there are no leader wound or kill VPs given to the enemy for his leader, as he can take command. So it's not the end of the world, but that is an unfortunate start there for Minas Tirith. End of the movement phase. Minas Tirith just shuffling slightly back so that their line is nicely together, happy to draw Mordor back. Gwaihir's repositioned so that he again can put some threat down towards there. He is just out of charge range of both the cavalry and the infantry. The only other thing that Minas Tirith did was move 1 knight towards that objective. So that's the end of the movement phase. There's no Mordor shooting, as the bowmen are all behind the line at only 5 points. They make quite good anti-air defense, just keeping the back of the formation safe. So it's just the Minas Tirith Rangers there, and they are just going to volley fire into the front rank. There's 7 shots. They've not moved, so they're hitting on 3s. That's not too bad there. And then wounding on 6s. No wounds. Dear me. Well done, Rangers of Gondor. So that is the end of the shoot phase. There's no combats, so we'll roll for priority. And if we didn't already mention it, evil obviously in red and good in green. And again, it goes to evil. That is what Minas Tirith want to see at this stage in the game. Joe, the Technicolor troll, interrupts this video to say, please like, comment and subscribe. Mordor at this point really do not want priority. They are a little bit at the mercy of the Minas Tirith force here. If they come out, then they're going to get abused by the cavalry heroes and Gwaihir. But if they stay put, they'll just get shot and Gwaihir can go in, hurl heroic combat away, all sorts of shenanigans. So, should they stay or should they go, as the song goes? Should they try and come across? Should they spread out and try and charge everything? Gwaihir obviously out of range there. Comment below with what you think should happen. Mordor are, at this point, just going to go forward. At the very least, even if they start getting abused, they will have this central objective and it will be very difficult for them to be moved away from it. I think that's the best thing for them to do. Do comment below if you disagree. Or if you agree. So Mordor have advanced. They've formed a little bit of a ring just so that the cavalry can't smash their flanks. And we've jumped in because the Witch King is going to 2 dice compel Gwaihir. He's going to try and bring him forward. And then he, Gorbag and co are going to try and jump him and ideally flash kill him, but even just a couple of wounds would be nice. It goes off on a 6. Now Gwaihir will not be able to heroic strike or defend, and he'll only have 2 attacks and won't be able to strike because it's like a transfix on steroids, as it's been described before. So he does realistically want to resist that, but on a 6 it's going to be difficult. So he's going to use 2 points of will. Oh, and a 5. That is good enough. We've knocked that 5 with the dice. It was a 6. So he's going to spend a point of might. So that's 2 will and a point of might to resist that spell. So he is fine. And then the Witch King and co will finish off their move. End of Minas Tirith's move, and there's now a big gaping hole in their line as Forlong has charged through onto a tracker, and Gwaihir has joined that for a heroic combat. Not the world's greatest from Mordor, but they had placed those 2 to stop a cheeky hurl. The hurl's still going to end up coming at this rate, but at least it's going to cost a point of might. As we said, Mordor, slightly outmaneuvered, have been forced to just go forward, take a round of abuse, and then come back swinging. So that is how movement is looking. There are some shots. These 2 and this chap here have moved, but they've got clean shots on Gorbag, who's out there taunting Gwaihir, but Gwaihir didn't take the bait. So 2 hits, wounding on 6s. Ooh, nearly, but not quite. There's then 4 shots here, and they are just going into the front rank. 2 hits, 6s to wound. Oh, and there is a wound. So we'll whip that guy out there, and that is 1 less Black Númenórean to worry about. And that's the end of the shoot phase, so we'll go into the combat phase. Into the combat phase, and Gwaihir, Forlong in on that tracker is too good to pass up for a heroic combat. So Forlong is going to call. That's his first point of might, as Gwaihir's already spent 1 to resist that spell. Gorbag is going to be calling a heroic strike, because both Forlong and Guahir are naturally a higher fight than him, and he's just too exposed there to risk getting flash killed without at least giving them a run for their money. So he is heroic striking, Forlong is heroic combating. It's the only combat, so we'll roll for that. And the green dice are Guahir, who is actually 3 on the charge, and 3 on the charge for Forlong in the blue. They've got the 6. They have higher fight value than the tracker, and then rolling to kill. They'll both be wounding on definitely more than that. In fact, that might be a full brace of wounds. So he is dead, and then they can move on. And Guahir doesn't really need to think about it. He's going in there for a hurl, and he's going to roll his courage. He's super duper brave, and he's going in there. We'll tweak his position in a moment so that he gets maximum carnage from the inevitable hurl, and then we'll just see about Forlong off camera, because we've not really thought that through. Forlong is just going to retreat, leaving that Warg Rider's control zone and just popping back well under his 10-inch move, but importantly, he's outside of 6 from Gorbag. So then we'll come around so that we can see a bit better for the hopefully hurl, if Guahir can win the fight. He is a bit of a king of fluff, so hopefully he won't bottle it. So it's a Morannon and a Black Númenórean. Turn him round, although he's nicely displaying the channel shield there. So 3 for Guahir, 2 for Evil. And Guahir wins it. So he's going to hurl. How far is he going to hurl? It's 3 inches is the strength differential plus D3, and it's a 6, which is another 3 inches. So he's going a mighty 6 inches through this line. Not a lot that Mordor could do about it. Maybe they should have played it different, as it is going to hit everyone in that line. That is a lot of guys. So this guy is going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hits. He also takes 1 strength 6, which will wound on a 5, which doesn't kill him. So we'll grab 11 dice to do all this. Let's see how many we can find. They're going to be all various colours. When we've got this many dice, we'll not bother with the good and evil yet. There we go. So he's dead. There's a 6 in there. And then we'll roll for each of the guys that he has hit. So this chap in front, roll for him. It's a 6 to wound all of these. Nothing for him. Spearman behind is dead. We'll remove them in a minute. Him, that guy there is fine. Spearman behind. Oh, he's dead. Dear me, the channel shields, they are not doing too well. Then this Spearman by himself, he's fine. This chap here is dead. This is a lethal hurl. Absolutely lethal. And then, oh, this Spearman. This bloke here is fine. The Spearman behind him is fine. Then there's this final blokey here is fine. And his spear support is fine. So a decent number of kills, and importantly, it's knocked a load of guys prone, and it's whipped a lot of the terror off that front line. Ready for some charges next turn. We'll put some prone markers on, and then we'll roll for priority. So we've popped all of those prone markers on. We've also just displaced the guys where the Black Númenórean landed. So that is the admin side of things done. We'll roll for priority. And on a draw, this time, when they need it, it goes to good, as Evil had it last. With good priority, Evil really need to be calling a heroic move. They've got a lot of guys prone. They don't want to get pounced on. So the Witch King, who's going to be able to affect most of the army there, is going to call a heroic move. Now, Guahir is in a good place to counter, but because he's an eagle and doesn't speak the language of men, none of the guys around him would be able to follow him. So instead, Forlong is going to call. He'll reach Guahir and a couple of these guys which will mean they'll be able to charge forward, but without compromising the main line. So we'll roll off. 1, 2, or 3, it goes to Mordor. On a 4+, it goes to good. Oh, and it goes to Mordor and the Witch King. So the Witch King will get to move first, and first things first, he's going to 2-will transfix Gwaihir. And it does go off on the 4. He'll re-roll for free to a 5. So he's cast that on a 5. He gets that re-roll for the crown, which gives him 3 attacks and a free re-roll on both cast and resist. Well worth 25 points. So he's got that off on a 5. And Gwaihir has just 1 will left. He is going to resist it. Hopefully he gets lucky, but he doesn't. On a 1, Gwaihir now out of will and transfixed. So he's vulnerable there. Hopefully Forlong and Co can save him. First off, though, it's the rest of the Witch King's heroic move. Mordor's heroic move. And these chaps are just out of 3 inches, having to halve their move for being prone. So they're going to form a little wall and then join the fray down there. After that heroic move, the lines have clashed. There's a bit of a wall here to try and put Hurin and that knight off from charging forward. With Gwaihir transfixed, the Witch King is relatively safe, even though he's very, very exposed. Now, though, it's Forlong's heroic move. With good priority, Forlong does not call with me, and instead he just ploughs forward into Gorbag and allows the rest of these guys to do what they want. Final thing left for good to move is Hurin. He's going to take a courage test to charge into both of these. He's got a knight with him, but they can't both get onto this tracker and get off a heroic move because of the control zones. So he's just going to go in and try and kill some guys and hopefully not get overwhelmed by cavalry next turn. So he passes his courage test nice and easy, and he's in on both of those. And then his friend is going to take a courage test. Oh, in fact, no, he doesn't need a courage test. That's daft. To charge the tracker, and he's in there with a slightly overwhelming force bearing down on them, but for now it's not too bad. So that's the end of the movement phase. The lines are clashing. Cavalry have charged in on both flanks now. Mordor have managed to pull Forlong off Gorbag and also trap him, and a couple of archers ready to take shots. Generally, it's going to be some absolute carnage this turn. Start of the combat phase, and with most of the heroes engaged in combat, no one is calling a heroic. Gorbag isn't against Forlong. He's had to be pulled off because he's the only one fighting him. If either of them heroic combat, the other will strike. And then over here, neither Hurin nor... oh, what's his face? We're completely blanked on his name. Goroth, that's it. Neither of them can get in on the other one because of control zones. And if either one of them calls, then they could get abused by the other. So again, no calls there. So we'll go straight into the combats. So we'll start off over here on the left with good priority. I'm going to do this one first. Just a simple one-on-one. It goes to the knight. Now he needs 5s down to 4s because of the lance. Oh, a 2. That is definitely not going to do it. And he just backs away perfectly safe. We then have 2 because he's on the charge against infantry, against Gorbag and friend. Gorbag in the big red dice. Oh, wins that fight nice and easy. He's glad he didn't waste a might on a strike, even though they were actually even fight. He's wounding on 5s, and that 6 is enough. So he's dead. And Forlong now is in a little bit of trouble. Forlong just against 2. He is 3 on the charge. He does have the higher fight value. So let's see if he can win. He does there on the 6. They're both smashed to the ground. And he has a war lance, a war spear, which counts as a lance. And he's a mighty strength 5. So it's 5s down to 4s on both of these. So prioritizing the higher fight and terror causing Black Númenóreans, he kills him. And then the remaining 2 double strikes on the spearman kills him as well. That is good work there from Forlong. We'll then come up here and we'll just pop across to the other side of the board. And in fact, having just popped across here, just realised that we didn't do any of the shoot phase. We got a little bit carried away, so we'll do that now. Obviously, if this was a real competitive game, you'd chalk that up to a mistake and move on. But with filming, it does get a little bit difficult to follow sometimes. So we'll let that go. Oh, that is a lot of hits because should have differentiated. We'll differentiate and we'll re-roll because those 2 have moved. So they can be the bigger dice. And oh dear me, only 1 hit. And it's not a wound. So that shooting there, completely irrelevant. So back on track, it's combats. We'll grab some dice. Here we go. So this fight here, Minas Tirith have bottled it on the shield wall slightly there with some gaps, but there we go. So a 2-on-2. The big dice will be the higher strength of the Morannon, but they lose. Their banner is in range, so re-rolling is not enough. And they need 6s. They don't get it, so the evil line backs away. We then have the next 2-on-2. And again, it goes to good. Re-rolling for the banner. No. And needing 6s, 2 5s. The Minas Tirith shield wall winning fights, but quite impotent when it comes to actually wounding. Keep knocking them because of their spears. We then have these ones who have clearly been knocked. They're meant to be in combat. 2-on-2. It goes to good. Re-rolling for Evil's banner. Still not enough. Good. Forgot to move their banner and Denethor, but there we go. They are going to run out of range on that soon. Oh, a 6 to a wound. That is the first shield wall kill there for Minas Tirith. Then we come across to the next one. A 2-on-2. A draw. Come on, banner. No, it is a draw. And he is a long way away there from the banner. Yeah, he's miles away from the banner. So it's a draw. 1, 2, 3. It goes to Evil. So it's gone to Evil. And the 5 there doesn't work. Oh, yes, it does, because he backs away. He's not in shield wall. And the 5 kills him, because that big red dice there is the Morannon Orc. Strength 4 doing the work there. We'll then do this 2-on-2. It goes to Evil. Minas Tirith banner has made a big mistake there, and he pays with his life. Minas Tirith losing ground there now in the shield wall. Another 2-on-2. This does go to Minas Tirith, but the banner re-roll, that perfectly placed banner behind the Mordor lines, has come in there. Will they get the kill? Yes, on double 6s. Minas Tirith's line taking a beating. The final 2-on-1, only this time the frontline orc is Goroth, the big burly two-hander. So he's always going two-handed because he's burly, so he gets no negative for it. And all of the entertainment. Oh, and he has won. Fight value 5. So he's wounding on, oh, definitely not a 3. So that is no wounds. He is strength 5 on defense 7. He's wounding on 5s down to 4s with 2 hands. So that is no wound there. We then have 4 on a charging Hurin. With the look of his fellow warriors failing, he is not looking forward to this combat, but he's going in because he is brave. So 3 on the charge. Hurin does not win the fight. He's going to have to use a point of might to win that. 2 Morannons and 2 of the Black Númenóreans will whip him off his horse. So he wins that with a point of might. He's also effectively barely two-hand at strength 4. So he is going to be wounding him on 5s down to 4s. So first chap is dead. And the second chap, not dead from that one, but it's then the third strike. Still doesn't kill him. Good job he didn't call any heroic combats off that. And it'll be that one that dies. So he kills one, the other knocked prone. We'll put a prone marker on him in a moment. After this last combat, it's a 2-on-2. 2 for the charge there. Well out of banner range. Too high, sees Mordor lose that. And then these are double strikes. Strength 3 on defense 3 of that tracker. Means he's wounding on 4s down to 3s for the lance. And he skewers that tracker. And that is the end of the combat phase. End of turn 3. Can Minas Tirith keep the momentum going in turn 4? Let's roll for priority. And it goes to evil. This could be the counter swing now, as evil have priority. So with evil priority, Hurin has called a heroic move. He needs to keep some momentum going. He's called with his second point of might, and Goroth has used his first to counter. Over here on the flank, Forlong has called a heroic move, which will get all of these, including Gwaihir, who can benefit from a heroic move. He just can't call one and have it work the other way round. And that is going to be Forlong's last point of might. But then Gorbag is not going to counter. He's only got one left and he's going to save it for a strike. The only guys with him are very, very low courage and probably won't be able to tie down the eagle. So he's going to allow that to happen. It could be a mistake, hopefully not. So we'll roll off for whose goes first. Either Goroth or Hurin. And on a 5, it goes to good. So that is Hurin and company. So Hurin, for his heroic move, is going in to Goroth and friend. He's only got one might left, so he needs to ideally flash kill Goroth. His only way to do that is to stop cavalry from joining this fight. So this is being pre-measured. This knight is going to whip round. He is just in 6 there. And then this infantryman needs to pass his courage test. He's going to charge in there, blocking there, and trying to keep those cavalry away from Hurin. A big priority roll here. Not priority, courage. He's bottled it there. He has failed. He's courage 3, up 1 because of Forlong's Warhorn, but then down again for the negative bubble there, but it's a fail anyway. And then these chaps here are going to have to just try and form a bit of a wall and protect Hurin with their lives now that he has failed. We'll come back after they've moved. With this guy failing his courage test, the 2 Fountain Court Guard have stopped Hurin from being trapped, but that cavalry will be able to get in and turn off the charging bonus of Hurin's horse, making him very, very vulnerable there to Goroth and friends. A couple of guys have managed to go in. There's still these 2 to move. First off, we'll do his courage test. He's passed, allowing this chap to charge in, spear supporting if he's not counter-charged, but also holding that line. That's everyone that was in that heroic. So then we move over to Forlong and his heroic. Again, this has been pre-measured. Forlong is going to whip right back and round out of the various control zones, and he is in on him. He's just been knocked there. He's in on that chappie, which allows Gwaihir to fly over into Gorbag. And then this chap here is avoiding his control zone, going right round and coming in on that tracker. And then this chap here is just in range of the cavalry, making sure that Forlong will keep his cavalry bonus. And these 2 just run up to that sort of blue line there, and they are heading towards the objective down there. That is Forlong's heroic move, and then it goes to Evil, as they have priority. Start of Evil's normal movement, and the Witch King is going to use 2 of his will to transfix Hurin. Oh, it goes off on a 4, chasing the 6. A 5 will do. Hurin just has 1 point of will to resist. Oh, and he resists it on a 6, which means he doesn't even spend the will point. It is a free resist on a natural 6. The Witch King, unfazed, just charges round into this chap here, ready for a tasty heroic combat off there. And then as many of these guys as possible are going to join, and the lines are going to clash. End of the movement phase. The Witch King and a few guys there piling on him. And then Cavalry has got in on Hurin, turning off his charge bonus. All along the line, they've engaged. Then in Minas Tirith's movement phase, not Forlong, Denethor has charged. Could be a dangerous move there for the 0 might defense 3 Denethor with 1 wound left. But he can still hopefully get some kills and try and break Mordor before Minas Tirith start to hemorrhage too many guys. The banner has moved into the centre to make things a little bit more useful there for the banner, and the counterpart banner there in Mordor has moved across away from a heroic combat over there. Start of the combat phase, and Gorbag is calling a heroic strike, and Gwaihir is not going to bother. He's fight 8 against a fight 4 orc there, so he's hoping to just win it anyway. And even if he doesn't, he's not going to die unless things go horribly, horribly wrong. So he's going to save his 2 might for later. Over here, the Witch King will be calling a heroic combat, and both Hurin and Goroth are calling heroic strikes rather. So we'll do the combat first. That is the Witch King and a couple of friends. So the Witch King doesn't get the 6. What about his friends? They do get the 6, and they have the fight value in that fight. So the Witch King double strikes, just needing 5s, butchers that poor innocent rider there, probably not that innocent, and then they all get to move. So we'll come back once we've measured up exactly where they're going to be able to go. After that heroic combat, this Warg Rider has been able to get behind and trap Hurin, and because this guy took off that guy's control zone by charging him, and then the Witch King and the other rider charging as well for good measure. So some serious carnage there on the flanks, as the sheer numbers of the Mordor force has been able to really bring some pain now and start making that swing against the early advantage of Minas Tirith. We'll stick around this area and we'll just go along the fights. So it's Mordor priority. They're going to do all of the traps. So this one here, it's 2 guys. They'll be wounding on 6s anyway, so we don't need to differentiate. And the oh dear. Okay, we're back. So new phone, don't really know where all the buttons are or what they do, and that one obviously turns things off. So that chap there against those 2, and he is going to shield. Oh, he's winning so far. If that banner is in range, we'll roll it if it makes a difference. So it doesn't make a difference. Minas Tirith's out of range, so it's a draw. 1, 2, or 3, it's evil, and it goes to good. So they back away, and that Fountain Court Guard lives to fight another day. We'll then do this one here. It's a very, very worried Fountain Court Guard. He'll set the bar there at a 5. The Witch King, 4 on the charge, gets the 6. Does he kill? No, because he's defense 7, but he has double strikes there. Still doesn't kill. Warg Rider has 4. Still doesn't kill. And then the Morannon doesn't kill. the defense 7 Fountain Court guard there, who is knocked prone, we'll just lie him down so we remember, has survived a charging Witch King, Warcrider and Morannon. That is impressive work there. Will Hurin do the same? We'll do this fight now. It's Hurin and Goroth. We'll do their respective strikes, and Hurin bottles it there. Goroth is the higher fight value. We'll let Hurin set the bar on double ones. So Hurin automatically loses the fight and is trapped. Hurin here having a bad day. Goroth and all his friends. So we'll do the 2 Warg Riders. They've got double strikes, but not the extra one because they're against a mounted enemy. And that's 1 wound because he's only defense 6, our Hurin. And then 2 there with double strikes. Oh, 1, 2, 3. That is a dead Hurin. We'll see what Goroth gets. He never really does anything, does he? Oh, and that is 3 more. Hurin could not really be any more dead. That is a big blow there for Minas Tirith, losing all of the mounted units on the flank there. They've lost Hurin and that Swan Knight. That is not good. Can the rest of the shield wall redeem themselves? Let's find out. So we've got a Black Númenórean and a Morannon against a shielding Fountain Court guard. Who loses? There is the banner. No. So they're still wounding on 6s, both of them. Rerolling 1s because they outnumber, and it comes in and kills him. Oh dear, Minas Tirith, what are you doing? We've then got another chap who's going to shield and lose. Banner reroll to a 2. Oh dear, 6s to kill. Rerolling 1s to a 6. Oh, they have just carved through Minas Tirith. That is impressive. We've then got a 2-on-2 here. And it's a draw. They both have a banner in range. They'll both re-roll their lowest. And this time it goes to good. Can they get a 6? Can they get a kill? No. Absolutely not. The Minas Tirith shield wall is there just to slow things down, not really to get any kills. And that is hurting them here. So 2-on-2. It's a draw. They both have a banner in range. They'll just both re-roll. And it goes to evil this time. And no kill there because it's the strength 3. But it was a 1 to re-roll. But you can't re-roll a re-roll. And they back away. Same again. 2-on-2. Just here. It goes to good. The banner is not in range there for evil. So needing a 6 to kill, no chance. They back away. Oh, we'll just put them back in. Then the next 2-on-2 goes to evil. Re-rolling for the banner to a 6. So there is hope. Can they do it? Yes, it goes to them on the draw. A 6 will kill. And there is the 6, Minas Tirith. They've definitely got a long way to go to winning this shield wall, but at least they've got 1 kill. This one's more in their favour. 3-on-2. They need to win this. They need to kill. And, oh, they get a 6. The Mordor banner is a long way away. Far too far away, so a 6 here would be really good for them. And they get it. They get a kill. They're doing much better on the right. And then we have a big fight here. Denethor. Now, with Hurin dead, Denethor will give away victory points for his wound and death. However, it's only 1, whether he's wounded or dead. He's already wounded, so we might as well just go full combat ninja against the Morannons. So this Morannon, I think he's actually going to shield. Even though he's against a wounded enemy leader, he's going to shield. And it pays off. He pushes Denethor and the Ranger back. Oh dear, we just knocked him over. So that keeps the warrior alive there, as Denethor is strength 5, 2 attacks. He's quite lethal. So we'll come up now to these combats. We have several one-on-ones. We've got this one-on-one here. Ranger against Tracker. It goes to the Ranger, wounding on 4s, and it kills him. That is a dead Tracker. We'll then do this one-on-one. The Minas Tirith warrior charged, and he's won. 5 again will kill him, and he does it. Does the Warg Rider stay? The Warg rather stay? No, it doesn't. So the Warg flees. Much better work here for Minas Tirith on this flank. We then have charging Knight against a Tracker. The Tracker loses, and he is taking wounds on 3s. He's dead. Much better here on the flank. We'll come around a little bit to do those final fights, try and save my back a bit. These 2 final fights. We've got Forlong on a guy, and he's the only model just about in the whole Mordor army that doesn't have a shield. So that spearman there, unable to shield, is just going to have to fight it against Forlong. Forlong's 3 on the charge. He wins. Only a 4 high. The Orc did have a chance, but he has bottled it, and he is super duper dead. Forlong also there re-rolling 1s with his special rule, so he was definitely going to annihilate that Orc. And then we come to a very big fight for the last one. Gorbag against Gwaihir. Gorbag needs to stay alive here to try and protect this objective just over here. So his strike takes him to fight 8. That is enough to draw the fight. So he has, if we can find enough red dice, so he is going to shield. He needs to stay alive here. Gwaihir, 3 on the charge. Wins the fight. It's Gorbag's last might. He can't do anything about it. So Gwaihir wounding on 4s because he is strength 6 against defense 6. And he's got 6 attacks because he's knocked him down. He has killed Gorbag. 2 wounds, 1 fate, and he's taken 4 wounds. So Gorbag is dead. And that is a very strong flank there for Minas Tirith. Although over there, very much a different story. So this is going to be a very interesting game to see how this resolves. Let's go into priority for turn maybe 5. I've not really been counting. And this time priority goes to good. With good priority, Goroth is going to call a heroic move, and that's going to get everyone up to the Witch King all the way down to here. There's only going to be these 2 that are not in that heroic move, so that is going to be pretty much the full Mordor army to try and sweep away and break Minas Tirith. So he is going to move first, and he's just going to pop in there, and then the rest of them are going to charge. Some of you may well have been screaming that Denethor hasn't been doing any of his broken mind tests. We'll do his one for this turn, and he's passed it. We'll just have to chalk that up to an error. I don't think there's anything gained by rolling 4. We'll roll 4. See if it would have made a difference. So the first one would have passed. Second one, oh, he would have passed because turn 2 he was still miles away from the Witch King. And he's got the Warhorn. 3 he'd have passed, and 4 he'd have passed. So it didn't make any difference there. Worst case, he'd have spent a point of will. So it's not the end of the world that we've forgotten, and we'll try and remember. Having not got a broken mind, he is going to charge, and he is going brave. He's whipping up there, and his ranger friend is going in. We'll do the rest of the move off camera. End of the move phase, and Mordor have just swarmed all over Minas Tirith. They are going to start taking some heavy casualties now. The Warg Rider is on that objective, although they've actually ceded this flank, not so much through any fault of their own other than the fact that they've all died. So they've not really ended up in a very good position, Mordor, despite smashing through Minas Tirith. They do currently have the objective in the back corner. Gwaihir's moved to intercept, and Forlong and the Knight have managed to get in on this Warg Rider, allowing these two to just come up and help hold that. So even if Mordor smash the Minas Tirith force there to pieces, including poor old Denethor, hopefully Minas Tirith will be able to get these objectives unless Mordor can do something tricksy. So there's no shooting. Let's go into the combat phase. Combat phase, and Mordor only have might on the Witch King. He's only got one, so he can't do anything like a heroic combat and then a heroic move and transfix or any form of mess about on Gwaihir. He would have to realistically save that for a heroic strike. So there's not really a lot of options for Mordor other than to smash Minas Tirith so fast that they can't claim all of the objectives. So that is their plan. They need to do some serious work this turn. We'll start off here with the Witch King, who is going to be 4 attacks on the charge. He gets the 6. He's against that poor prone chap who we forgot to put a prone marker on, but he's still lying down and he's dead. This time the Witch King absolutely annihilates him. We'll just put that guy down. We'll then do a 3-on-1, and that guy is going to shield. See if we can find some dice. There we go. So 3-on-2. Oh, and they have 1. It's 6s. Trackers, the tracker and the Moronons, but they get it. That flank now is fully crumbled. Minas Tirith really struggling now on that flank. We then have Goroth and friends against the shielding chap. We'll let the shielding chap set the bar at 5, respectable. We then have Goroth also on a 5. Where's Minas Tirith's banner? It is next to him. It's still a 5, couldn't quite do it. Goroth's double strikes, wounding on 5s down to 4s, kills him. Absolutely squashed. We then have a very trapped chap here. Is Minas Tirith's priority though? So there's not a lot they can do here without risking the banner first off. So yeah, this trapped chap against 4. He is outfought by the Númenóreans, and yeah, he's gonna have a bad day. The double strikes from the Morannons cut him down on a 5, so he's dead. We'll then do this chap here against just 1-on-1. He could do it. The warrior of Minas Tirith is going to fight it and regrets it. Oh, he does have a banner. No. So 6s, re-rolling 1s because they outnumber, and he is dead. Poor Fountain Court guard there. We then have he was in on the Warg Rider. Everything's getting slightly knocked here. So we'll do this. You can't quite back away. We'll do this one. We'll do the banner. So the charging Warg Rider, we'll just do the Ranger's dice for now. He loses. Ranger's banner reroll, so then the banner needs to get a 6 here to go down. Oh, so close. So close. The Warg Rider wins. He puts his first double strikes on the banner, eats the banner, and then the Warg on the Ranger kills the Ranger. That is savage. That is 7 dead so far, including the banner for Minas Tirith just this turn alone. This is nasty. We then have this 2-on-1. He's just going to fight it. Minas Tirith are brave, and they win. Get in. They do have a banner for Mordor. No, so 6s to kill. Bravery is rewarded. The Númenórean dies. Can the men fight off the orcs? 2-on-2. Oh, they're doing well. They've won. And then 6s to kill. And they do it. That pushes the orcs back and kills one. That is good work there. We've then got a 2 on, 1, and he is, I don't think he is actually trapped anymore. Didn't really look at that very well. And the Númenórean will shield. He's lost anyway. 6s to kill. No, so he backs away. We'll then do this 1-on-1. And it goes to good. The banner is a long, long way away, but no kill. So he just backs away. Over there, we then have this 1-on-1. It goes to evil, needing just 4s. The ranger is killed. We then have Denethor and 2 friends against a shielding orc. I think he's going to play safe. He's going to shield. Doesn't make a difference. Even with 2 6s, the orc loses to the big fight 5. And then these are all Denethor. And he kills him. Go on, Denethor. Denethor there gets a kill. But he has lost a huge amount this turn. Possibly getting quite close to breaking now for Minas Tirith. We then have just one final fight over in the corner. We'll just walk it round. We have Forlong and Friend against the Warg Rider. We'll let the Warg Rider set the bar at a 1. So he's automatically lost. We'll just be rolling for wounds. 2 from Forlong, needing, strength 5 on defense 5 is 4s down to 3s with the war lance spear thing. And he's killed him very, very much. And then the other guy with his lance on the Warg kills it. 3 6s on 3 dice. Both the Warg Rider and Warg are dead. That then is the end of the combat phase and the end of the turn. End of the turn, and it has been absolute carnage. Both forces now just 1 model away from break. Let's roll for priority. And it goes to evil on the 3. Mordor are still in with a chance here if they can sweep Minas Tirith away. But they're going to need to do it quickly because once they break, they are going to struggle. So the Witch King, using his last point of might, is calling a heroic move. Because Gwaihir is calling to try and get around there onto the objective. He can't see the Warg Rider to charge him, but he can at least get onto the objective and get ready to kill the Warg Rider in a bit. So 1, 2 or 3, the Witch King. But it's a 4 and Gwaihir moves first. So he is going to fly off onto the objective and then the Witch King will move. Well, we remember Denethor is going to roll for his broken mind. He's absolutely fine. He's loving it. But perhaps not for long, as with evil priority, the Witch King has to go first because he called a heroic move, but he's not going to bother calling with me. But part of what he's going to do is he's going to move just to there, pre-measured, into range of Denethor. And he's going to use 2 will to black dart him. Doesn't quite go off. He's got the free reroll. And it's not gone off. Denethor survives there. And then the Witch King moves up to this point here. Again, pre-measured. So he's getting as close to the objectives as he can. And he's also putting that -1 courage bubble around all of these guys here. Just daring Denethor to charge him. Then the Horde will charge. End of the move phase, and it is carnage in the centre. The forces of good have been fully surrounded. Denethor engaged by an orc and a couple there. The Witch King and friends trying to get to the centre where there are just 2 Minas Tirith loyal men trying to defend that central objective. More orcs and men have gone after this objective, allowing the Warg Rider to get into the fray. The higher courage there of the courage 4, then up to 5 with the army bonus for outnumbering their enemy. They are good on objectives. And then here, couple more for Minas Tirith getting in on that objective. Forlong holding that back objective by himself, leaving the knight to run off towards the centre and to try and get stuck into this fray, while over behind that building we have Gwaihir and a very, very scared Warg Rider. Just one casualty from either side will break them, so both sides will probably go into next turn broken, although Minas Tirith are not looking all that healthy here in these fights, so they may well not even be able to break Mordor. There will be some shooting. There's a tracker and a ranger exchanging bow fire. So the tracker first with priority hits. He's not moved, but doesn't kill on the 3. So the ranger hitting on 3s again. He's not moved. He hits. 5+ to kill. Oh, and he's killed him. And that has broken Mordor. Whatever else happens now, Mordor are broken. So it's combat time. Where to start? We'll start off here with Goroth and 100 friends against a chap who is going to shield. So we'll set the bar with him. He's going to shield there on the 6. Then it's 3 for the plebs and 2 for Goroth, and he bottles it. There is the banner, and he's out of might. So Goroth and friends pushed back. Bad start there for Mordor. We then have, oh, this guy's untagged. He'll just charge up there. So we then have a Warg Rider there against the Ranger. The Ranger wins. He needs a 5 to get the guy off his mount. No, that's a 3, but he's still alive, which is impressive. We then have a similar fight there. Charging, giving him 2. Oh, he wins that one, and the banner for Minas Tirith has been squashed, as has the Ranger. So he is down. That's both forces broken now. We then have a 1-on-1 here. They're both just going to go for it. It's a draw, which then goes to Evil on fight. Pushing him back. He's done a bit of a pirouette. We then have here a 1-on-1, which goes to Evil. Wounding on 5s. Doesn't kill him. He backs away. We've then got a trapped chap there who is going to shield against 3. And he wins. Is the banner in range? Oh yeah, the banner's in range. And it's a 6. Winning it on fight. So close, little Minas Tirith warrior. So close. So the Morannons wounding on 5s. Squash him there on that 5. That was very close there. Honestly thought that he was going to survive that. Then we have a 1-on-1. Ranger on Spearman. And it goes to the Spearman, who then doesn't kill him. Would have needed a 4, strength 4 and defense 4. We then have a 1-on-1. And it goes to Evil. But they fail to wound. And he back away there. He makes way. Then we have Denethor. Good old Denethor against the Orc. Oh, and the Orc wins. Can he kill him? Just a 5 will do it. It's a 4. Denethor survives. And that is the end of the combat phase and the end of the turn. With both forces broken, this is going to be very, very tense. Evil need priority. They need to start shielding against the forces of Minas Tirith and spreading out onto these objectives. This is a very important priority. But it goes to good. That could spell disaster there for Mordor. So first things first, Denethor's Broken Mind. Oh, he just passes. He is Courage 5, -1, but then +1 for the Warhorn. He passes, and he is not going first because he doesn't want to stand fast. First off, we're going to do this chap here and hope he fails. We'll do it on camera. It'll just be quick. So this chap here, he passes. He's too brave. He charges into a Warg Rider. That guy there, he fails. That's what we need. Minas Tirith here trying to quarter themselves because they're in a strong position at the moment and will win the game. So then this chap here, he passes because of the Warhorn. He then just goes in there, tagging the cavalry. Then this chap here, he passes as well. That's not at all what they want. He's going to go into Goroth. Goroth can't shield. He's going to club him to death. We'll then do this ranger here who fails. That chap there passes. He's going to go into those two orcs there. Now we'll do Denethor because they would quite like that central objective. He has passed. He's going to go in there on the objective, keeping those two in line. Just quickly, we'll do that guy up there. He passes. We'll move him in a moment. We then have that guy runs. Oh, this could be a messy strategy. The ranger passes. There we go. And then the chap with the ranger also passes. We then have Forlong, who passes nice and easily. And Guahir, the legend that is, has managed to auto pass for being a legend. And even though he is a hero of legend, he is still not the leader. That is Denethor because of his the rule of Gondor is mine special rule. So even though he's Valor, he is the leader and not Guahir, which is good because it allows Guahir to go off and take some names without risking his VPs. So that's all of the courage tests. We'll just quickly move him onto the objective, and that then is all of the movement for good live. We'll come back after evil have moved. In fact, not quite all of the movement. This chap here is going to try and charge into the Witch King to turn off his stand fast. He fails. Can the ranger do it? Yes, the ranger does get to charge. Courage 3 would normally fail on a 7 because of his aura, but as we've said, Forlong the Fat has a Warhorn, so that has turned off his stand fast, and actually Goroth is engaged as well, so there's going to be a lot of courage tests for evil. Too many to bother with on camera. We'll come back once they are done. So all of those courage tests, Mordor must have rolled more 7s for orcs than I've ever seen, which with their army bonus of +1 courage when outnumbering the enemy has meant that a lot of orcs there have passed. This Warg Rider failed. This chap here failed. And this chap here failed. But other than that, a lot of past courage tests, which is good for Mordor. Importantly, on the objective and here in their move, they have swarmed the objective to outnumber Minas Tirith, and they've moved in as many as they could to join that fight and help out the Witch King. So, no shooting, we'll go into combats. With Minas Tirith having priority and allowing so many of their guys to run, Mordor are going to struggle not to quarter them, but it is possible if they shield in this fight, and shield in this one. There are several fights where they can't shield because they've got cavalry, but they'll leave them with 9, and it's 8 to quarter Minas Tirith. So realistically, it will end next turn, but that gives them one more turn to try and get something onto here or pray that one of the objectives held by Minas Tirith run away. So we'll go into the scrapping, and we'll do this fight here. The warrior of Minas Tirith is going to stab, and the orc is going to shield. He does not want the kill. It's a draw, and it goes to good. So 6 is re-rolling 1s, not quite. The orc backs away, but importantly, Minas Tirith don't die, which is unusual for an orc to say. This one, Goroth can't shield or anything, but he doesn't have to fight Burley, so he is not going two-hand. He does have a single-handed weapon, which it's often been joked that there's no way he'd ever use it, but this is one of those times. So against a stabbing Minas Tirith, oh, but Goroth wins. His friends are just too good. Goroth wounding on 5s with his mighty strength, and they all wound. Oh, except for the Numenorian, but he is dead. That's Not good for Mordor, but good for Minas Tirith. So then it is 2 shielding orcs against a stabbing warrior of Minas Tirith. He really, really wants to die here. He loses. So does he take stabbing damage? No, he's absolutely nails. Then we'll do this one here. 4 guys shielding against 1 guy stabbing. It's a draw. And it goes to evil. So does he kill himself? No, they all back away. We then have this fight here. Lots and lots of guys against a ranger who is going to stab. He'll set the bar at 2. The Witch King, unable to shield, wins the fight. And with double strikes, he slaughters the ranger. And then we have one final fight. We have charging Gwaihir round the corner here on this objective against the warg. And he loses and is absolutely slaughtered. They would be divided up if we were doing it slowly, divided up between the warg and the warg rider. So Gwaihir there claiming that objective. We'll just double check, but I think because of the mighty skill of Goroth and co, they may well have quartered them. We'll just double check. In fact, no, as we've said, by shielding, the forces of Mordor are still in the game. They have managed to not quarter Minas Tirith, so we roll for another turn of priority. And again, it goes to Minas Tirith. There's no might on the board, except Gwaihir, actually. He's got 1, but he's just going to be sat on an objective. So, Broken Mind, he's fine. And then these guys, or we'll come back to them in a minute, we'll just have a ponder. So, this guy needs to run, and he does. So, that is Minas Tirith quartered. So, now they just need to pile onto objectives. So, we'll do his stand fast. Ooh, he only just passes up and down for neg 1 and then plus for the Warhorn. So those 2 stay. He's just going to shimmy around slightly to get him in, who's then going to charge in there just to try and get closer to the objective. This guy passes. He'll just charge the Warg Rider, allowing these 2 to stay safe, but only if they can pass. First guy passes. Second guy runs. Oh, it's a good job this is the last turn. Only 1 left on the objective. We'll then do Forlong, who passes, and Gwaihir also passes. So Minas Tirith there are quartered, and they are still going after some objectives. It's actually going to be very, very close, this, because I think Mordor are going to take that central objective. The last thing for good, though, will be to try and charge the Witch King with this knight. And he passes. So he's going to avoid the control zones and charge in to those 2, turning off the Witch King stand fast. So then we'll just roll Goroth stand fast, and the rest we'll do off camera. Ooh, Goroth has failed. He's got a point of will, so he's fine, but that was fairly poor there from the orc. End of Mordor's movement, and amazingly, nobody ran. These 2 were super brave on the objective. Goroth's heroic stand fast has kept everyone in. They've just gone for kills now. They've ignored Denethor, going after some easy kills. They should realistically outnumber on that objective anyway, but they just want to do it anyway. Oh, this Warg Rider's not moved. He's going to trap that chap. And that is that. There's no shooting, so we'll go into the combat phase. We'll start off with the Witch King. He's against a single knight. He's won and splattered him. We'll then do this 3-on-1. He has been smashed in there. We didn't roll the banner, but we will to wound, and super duper dead there on a load of 6s. He was trapped against the objective as well. We've then got, oh dear, moving Goroth. We've got 4-on-1. He's just going to fight it. Why not? In fact, he's going to stab. He's going to go nuts. He's lost. And he's not quite dead. Re-rolling 1s. Ah, the re-rolling 1 gets him, and that's even before the double strikes there for being trapped. We then have this chap here. He's going to set the bar at a 5. He is against 5 guys who also get the 5. It's a draw, and it goes to good. He is going to go after the Warg Rider, but he doesn't quite get him. That is the end of the fights. It's the end of the game, as Minas Tirith are reduced to 25% or below. So we'll count up the objectives. This one is going to be very, very close, and then we'll come back. End of the game, and that was very, very close. Mordor have claimed this objective for 2 points. They have this one, but there are still Minas Tirith around it, so they are only able to get 1 for it, which is 3. They've wounded Denethor, which is 1, and broken the enemy for 1, which is 5 points. Then Minas Tirith have 1 for being in range of that. In fact, no, sorry, they have none for that, but they have 2, 2, and 2 for their objectives, and then they've also managed to break Mordor, which is 7 points. So it is a 7-5 victory to Minas Tirith. A very, very close battle, and definitely could have gone either way. The sheer killing power of Mordor really, really shone there, but their flexibility let them down. I hope that you enjoyed this game. Please do let me know what you think. What do you think of the new mats and the terrain? And importantly as well, these armies. Do you think either of them are going to do any good at tournament kind of levels? Again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.